Hello and welcome to the 30k channel. I'm your host David, and today we have got a beauty of a game for you. We have Death Guard and Blood Angels, and please welcome Tom and Sean to the channel. Good morning, gentlemen.
Hi. Morning. How you doing?
Really good. Great to have you here. Now, you've had a reasonable journey this morning. Just give us a little description where you're from.
Yeah, from Salisbury area.
Yeah.
Just over 2 hours.
Oh, beast. So you was up bright and early, breakfast, fed and watered, in the car, and we were here bright and early for, I think it was 9:30, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Excellent. Good stuff. All right. Well, as I said, really great to have Blood Angels Death Guard here. We haven't had them for a little while. I think the last matchup was Miles and Jack, where we played in sort of a city kind of board with some buildings and stuff. But gents, today we've got your beautiful armies, and we've got you on kind of like an abandoned industrial zone within a rocky outcrop, I guess.
Yeah,
it looks good.
Yeah, looks really good.
Good, I'm glad. I did do a board build for this video, so if you want to watch how I built the board, it's episode 16, I think, of Setting the Scene. So go back and watch that before this game, so that'd be cool. Gents, I mentioned your armies. They are absolutely beautiful. We've got a dirty Death Guard, which is always nice. A lot of love has gone into those, I'd imagine.
Yeah, they haven't seen a bar of soap in a while.
Excellent. And the Blood Angels, I mean, they are bright and I'm not going to say gaudy, but they can be a little bit bright and in your face. But I think that's the aesthetic, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the way Blood Angels play as well in your face. So
yeah, they love it
that way.
That's good. And we've got some classic lists as well. Tom, talk me about your Death Guard, please.
It started off as a quick project really for this opportunity to come and play on your channel. Really looking forward to it. 2,000 points. Great. Gone completely blank.
We're playing Centurion, aren't we?
We are playing Centurion, yes, yeah. Which is the Mournival event rules. So no tanks, limit on dreadnoughts.
No flyers,
no
drop flyers.
Yeah. It's all foot sloggers, which is what the Death Guard are famed for, really. So.
It is, and I also think that Heresy lends itself to this list build as well, particularly at 2K. I've seen a lot of lists that are quite elite, lots of vehicles, and there's a place for that. But when there's a ton of infantry, it's a really fun game.
Yeah, it's only 2,000 points, but there's a lot of models on the board.
Yeah,
there is. And if we look at the Blood Angels list, you've got some really cool units in there. You've got some Dawnbreakers. You've got the new Jump Pack Dreadnought. Tell us about those.
Yeah, Dawnbreakers are very hard hitting. And the Jump Pack Dread. It's a Dread with a Jump Pack. Why wouldn't you want it?
Oh, man. I mean, we haven't seen it on the channel, so I think it is a channel first, which I'm quite excited to see it. It's got a couple of modes there, hasn't it? So can you explain those modes to us?
Yeah, so you can either use his Jump Pack to Deep Strike, which is how I'll be using him because I like to null deploy my Blood Angels, or he can get an extra charge or extra move.
Yeah. Now, it's funny, you mentioned they'll deploy. Now, we saw that a lot in 40k when we were all paying 40k before Heresy dropped. And null deploy was quite a thing, but you don't see it so much in Heresy. Is it a tricky list to play, null deploy? I don't know.
They get helped by the Rite of War because they get a 5-up cover save on the game turn that they land. But obviously, any deep striking without a drop pod, you always got the risk of scattering and mishapping. It's happened a few times, but hopefully my luck holds out today.
We'll find out. No, we see Raven Guard quite a lot with Dark Furies, and there's usually a Damocles Command Rider on the board, so at least it's not scattering. But I think the board's going to be okay for you. You're only deep strike mishapping if you're off the board, into impassable or into the enemy. So yeah. I think you've got a lot of space, haven't you?
Yeah, there's quite a few open spaces for me to drop into.
Good stuff. And Tom, just quickly looking back at the Death Guard, you've got missile launcher, heavy squad, quite a bit of firepower in there, and obviously the Grave Wardens can kick out a ton of shots, can't they?
They can, yeah. I'm hoping the way I've deployed to try and counter deploy and null deploy, which is not really that possible, but I'll give it a go. That we can sort of mitigate what firepower, not so much firepower, but hitting power of the Blood Angels coming at me. So yeah, we're excited to see how it turns out.
I think you'll need a couple, at least one good turn of shooting. Get rid of those jump salt troopers when they land, thin them out, and then the charge won't be so brutal when it hits you, I guess. But
yeah, I mean, we played a test game ourselves, and it was very close to the end.
It was bloody, and it was very close. It was down to the last dice rolls.
It was. There was stuff dying on either side, and I mean, I know which units I need to gun for from that experience, so I'm keeping it to myself for now.
Excellent.
I think I know which ones I'll be hiding.
Yeah, you try.
Good stuff. All right, we're looking for it's going to be a lively game, I'm sure. Now, if we look at the mission and the deployment we've gone for, we've got Dominion, which is a classic mission. You could be forgiven to saying that it favours a Death Guard because the models are on the board right from the first turn, and I guess the Blood Angels have got to work hard to firstly get on the board, get a good couple of charges off, and then come back late game to claim some objectives. Is that going to be tough for the Blood Angels, or?
Is hopefully we'll claim some on the way because you score the points at the start of turn, so then they can claim it and then go off and charge.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, I think. And we are playing Vanguard, which, if you watch the board build, I purposely built the board at an angle because we're so used to seeing things square on. I love a bit of an angle on the dangle for the board, so hopefully that works for Vanguard Strike. Gents, I think we need to get on with the game, don't we?
Yeah, let's do it.
Itching to get this done.
Yeah.
So.
It's going to be good fun. Now, just quickly though, the Blood Angels deploy first, go first, but you obviously null deploy.
Yeah.
And Tom, you fancy a seize?
I'm going to go for a seize, yeah. I mean, in our test game, Sean managed to seize on me, so I'm itching to try and see that 6 today, so we'll give it a go. I don't know.
Nah.
It's a 4. So
Classic Tom rolling.
Yeah. Good start.
All right, let's get on with it. We will go straight into Blood Angels turn 1.
This is 2,000 points of Death Guard, running no Right of War. They are led by Marshal Durek Rask. His warlord trait is target priority. Durek Rask, he is the army warlord. He is equipped with a Volkite Serpenter, a Thunderhammer, Artificer Armour, 1 Phosphex Bomb, and a Nuncio Vox. The second HQ choice for today is a Chaplain. He's equipped with an Artificer Armour, Melter Bombs, a Plasma Pistol, a Power Maul, and a Refractor Field. The third HQ is a Moritat. He's equipped with Artificer Armour, a Charnable Sabre. He has Melter Bombs. He has 2 Plasma Pistols and a Refractor Field. The elites are 1 5-man unit of Death Shroud, equipped with Tartarus Pattern Terminator Armour, and each carrying Melter Bombs. The second elite's choice is 1 10-man unit of Legion Destroyers. The Sergeant is equipped with Artificer Armour, 1 Phosphex Bomb, and he is carrying a Power Scythe. There are 2 missile launchers with Suspensor Webs carrying Rad Missiles. The troops' choices are 2 identical Legion Tactical Squads, each 10-man strong. The Sergeants are both equipped with a Power Scythe and Melter Bombs. The first heavy support slot is 1 Legion Heavy Support Squad. It is 10-man strong, each equipped with missile launchers. The Sergeant is equipped with an Augury Scanner and Artificer Armour. The second heavy support choice is 1 5-man strong Grave Warden Terminator Squad. Each member is equipped with a Chain Fist, and they are all equipped with an Assault Grenade Launcher. The last heavy support choice is 1 Dere Pattern Dreadnought. It is equipped with a Carapace mounted Boreas missile launcher carrying 4 missiles, 1 twin-linked Anvilus Pattern autocannon battery, 1 torso-mounted twin-linked heavy flamer, and upgraded to chem munitions.
Here is 2,000 points of Blood Angels running the Right of War Day of Revelation, led by Ralderon, whose warlord trait is Voidwalker. HQ units for the Blood Angels: Ralderon, who is equipped with Artificer Armour, the Encarmine Warblade, a Combi Flamer, Bolt Pistol, Iron Halo, and Frag and Crack Grenades. Second HQ is a Chaplain, equipped with Artificer Armour, Jump Pack, a Blade of Perdition. His Cronius is a Power Maul, and he has a Refractor Field. Elites are 2 identical Apothecaries, equipped with Jump Packs and a Power Sword. One will be joining Assault Squad, and one would be joining the Dawnbreaker cohort. Second elite unit is Crimson Paladins, equipped with 4 Sunset Blades and 3 Carillius shields. One has also exchanged his shield for an Illustrious Pattern Assault Cannon. and the Exemplar is equipped with a Blade of Perdition. Third elite's choice is a Dawnbreaker cohort, 7-man strong, equipped with grenade dischargers and Fallen Star pattern power spears, but the Dawnbreaker champion has a Blade of Perdition, and they all are equipped with Artificer armor. Troops choices are 2 identical 15-man strong assault squads, additional war gear of 3 power axes, and the assault sergeant has Artificer armor and a power fist. First fast attack choice is a javelin attack speeder squadron with 2 javelin attack speeders, equipped with twin-linked cyclone missile launchers, an illustrious pattern assault cannons, and 2 hunter-killer missiles on both. Second fast attack choice is a Contemptor Incendious class dreadnought, equipped with the Incendious booster pack, extra armor, armored ceramite, 2 illustrious assault cannons, and 2 talons of perdition. Blood Angels turn 1 movement. Due to the Rite of War Day of Revelation, all jump units arrive turn 1. 2 Assault Marine units and Dawnbreaker cohorts arrived, scattering quite a bit. 1 Assault Marine had to take a dangerous terrain test, but passed. The units aren't in the best position, but I will run them in the shooting phase to gain ground. Blood Angels turn 1 shooting phase. The assault squad with the chaplain has ran 6 inches. The other assault squad with no chaplain has run 4, and the Dawnbreaker cohort has run 6. End of Blood Angels turn 1, as there will be no assault phase. They are prepared to weather the Death Guard fire with the help of night fighting.
Death Guard turn 1 movement. The tactical squad on the right flank have moved up 6 inches towards the objective. The Death Shroud holding the centre have moved up 6 inches to claim the middle objective. The Missile Squad and Warlord Jurek Rask held their ground, ready to pick some shots off, hopefully, in the shooting phase. The Grave Warden stumbled in their difficult terrain movement and only managed to shuffle 3 inches. The Tactical Squad holding the left flank moved up 6 inches to claim the objective in the next turn. And the Derrideo has held still, declaring Interceptor and Skyfire in anticipation of Blood Angels reserves. Death Guard shooting phase. The tactical squad on the left flank ran 4 inches to claim the objective for the next turn. The Death Shroud stumbled a 2-inch run to try and get as close as possible to the middle objective. The tactical squad holding the right flank stumbled another 2 inches themselves, trying to get as close as possible to the right objective. Death Guard turn 1 shooting. The Derrideo can draw a bead to the Blood Angels assault squad with the chaplain. He declared Skyfire and the Interceptor in his movement phase, so he's going to try and snap shoot and see what he can hit. Needing 6s to hit, twin linked. Let's try that again, twin linked. 3 hits.
That's good.
And does he wound at strength 8? 3 wounds at strength 8.
Okay, as it's only AP 4, I will need 3 free-ups. 1 Assault Marine dies.
Next up to shoot for the Death Guard is the Heavy Support Squad carrying missile launchers. All 10 of them can catch a bead to the top of the Dawnbreaker cohort, so they're all going to have a cheeky pop at them. Hitting on 3s. That is 4 hits. Not so good for that. Wounding on 2s. 4 wounds. Onto the armour save of the Dawnbreakers.
Dawnbreakers have Artificer armour, so 2 up saves. 1 Dawnbreaker dies.
End of Death Guard turn 1. After the surprise assault of the Blood Angels, the shooting was not quite as effective as they wanted to be, and they are looking onwards to what the rest of the game can bring.
Blood Angels turn 2. Ralderon was the only unit to arrive, who scattered back into his own deployment zone. The 2 Assault Marine squads and Dawnbreakers have moved forward to bring the fight to the Death Guard. The Assault unit also scored a point at the start of the turn for claiming an objective. Blood Angels shoot in. The Crimson Paladins are going to use their illustrious assault cannon to shoot at the Death Shroud. It is 4 shots, AP4 rend in. A triple 1 will cause the gun to jam and no longer take any part of the game. Hitting on freeze. They've all hit. Strength 6 against toughness 4 will be wounding on 2s with 2 rends and 2 normal saves. Tom, if you could take the rends first, please.
So Death Shroud have a 5-up invuln, but I will be getting a 4-up cover save. 2 rend in. 1 goes through, so that's 1 wound so far, and the 2-up armor saves all saved. Death Shroud have 2 wounds apiece, so that'll be 1 wound off the lead Death Shroud. Slight correction, it's only a 5-up cover save. The lead Death Shroud has been killed.
Second unit to shoot is the Assault Squad with the Chaplain shooting at the Death Shroud. 8 bolt pistols are in range, hitting on 3, sorry. Take out misses. So 4 hits. And wounding on 4s with strength 4 bolt pistols for 3 more wounds.
That's 3 2-up armor saves for the Death Shroud. 1 wound goes through.
Dawnbreakers are going to shoot at the Tactical Squad on the right hand side using their grenade dischargers, as well as the Apothecary with his bolt pistol. The purple dice will be the Apothecary's bolt pistol. They're hitting on freeze. 6 shots in total from the discharges. So 4 hits with the grenade discharges. Strength 6 AP4, so be wounding on 2s for 4 wounds.
So that's 4 3-up armor saves for the Tactical Marines. All saved.
Chop them up in the combat. Blood Angels turn to assault phase. The Chaplain declared a charge against the Death Shroud. They managed to shrug off all the Overwatch and just got in with an 8. The Dawnbreakers also declared a charge against the Tactical Squad on the right hand side. The Overwatch just pinged off their armour and they rolled a mighty 11 to get in. Dawnbreakers striking against the Tactical Squad will have 15 attacks from the Dawnbreakers and 4 attacks from the Dawnbreaker Sergeant with the Blade of Addition. They will be hitting on freeze, striking first due to the Day of Revelation with a +1 initiative on the charge for all infantry units. So with the standard Dawnbreakers hitting on freeze, and the Sergeant with the purple dice hitting on freeze as well. The Blade of Addition is stock master crafted, so I will re-roll the 2 for 4 hits from him. I'll just take away the misses, so only 3 missed out of all of that. Due to being +1 strength and AP2 on the charge with the spears, they will be killing on 2s. The Sergeant will be killing on 3s.
That's a dead tactical.
Yeah, that is a dead tactical squad. Apothecary didn't even get a turn. Fantastic assault from the Dawnbreakers, mopping up that tactical squad, only managing to consolidate 1 inch, but that is 1 inch closest to their next target. Blood Angels Assault Squad striking the Death Shroud. The Chaplain has issued a challenge and the Death Shroud on 1 wound has accepted. Chaplain will be hitting on freeze with 4 attacks on the charge, striking at initiative 6 due to that +1 initiative. And it is mastercrafted, so 3 hits. +1 to wound from Blood Angels rules, so wounding on freeze. That is 2 wounds, but due to the Blade of Perdition, it's 2 wounds each, so you have to roll 2 at a time before he dies, and it spills onto the next model.
AP2 from the Blade of Perdition is a 5-up invuln save on the Death Shroud. He's dead, and the other 2 spill over. Another 1 dead.
1 wound.
Slight correction, that is in fact 2 Death Shroud that fall to the Blade of Perdition. It is dirty, 2 wounds per wound caused is difficult to save. At initiative 5 for the Chaplain of the Death Guard, he gets 4 attacks for his +1 with a melee weapon and pistol, hitting on 3s, re-rolling the 1 for Zealot, the first round of combat. That was initially 3 hits. Wounding on 2s for +2 strength from his Crozius is 2 wounds. You will get your normal armor save.
2 free-up armor saves, easily passed.
Loves it.
The Assault Marines and Apothecary, also striking at initiative 5, have 27 attacks, hitting 21 thanks to Zealot from the Chaplain, and wounding 11 times.
So 11 wounds to save on the closest Death Shroud at the moment, until I need to look out, sir. 2 at a time, because they have 2 wounds each, on a 2-up save. 2. Saved. Saved. Say, oh, it's down to 1 wound. Loves it. Initiative step 3 for the Death Shroud, due to -1 from the Power Scythe. As 2 are in base contact with more models, they get +1 attacks, so that is 6 attacks total, hitting on 4s with rerolls for the Zealot of the Chaplain. So that is 4 hits so far. Wounding on 3s for the +1 strength of the Power Scythe. And that is 2 wounds at AP2.
Due to have an Apothecary, I feel no pain. 5 up for 2 wounds. 1 Assault Marine dies. Initiative steps 1, the Assault Sergeant is just in range to strike with his Power Fist, hitting on 4s with rerolls for Zealot, and wounding on 2s for 1 wound.
1 wound. The closest model for the Death Guard is the Chaplain. I need to look out Sir this, because otherwise they'll fail the morale. Passes his Lookout Sir, so that's a 5-up invuln on the Death Shroud. Oh, squished flat.
End of turn 2 for the Blood Angels. They finally got stuck in, teaching the Death Guard how to do combat properly. Moving on to Tom's turn 2.
Death Guard turn 2. At the beginning of the turn, the tactical squad holding the left flank score a point for holding the objective. The Grave Warden move through cover 6 inches to score a point next turn if they can hold that objective. The Deredeo stays still again to declare Interceptor and Skyfire. The Missile Squad and Durat Ras stays still to maintain full ballistic skill should they need to shoot. And the Death Shroud, with his Chaplain, is holding the centre against the Assault Marines and the Blood Angel Chaplain. Death Guard turn 2 shooting. The Heavy Support Squad holding their missile launchers are going to shoot a fusillade at the Blood Angels Dawnbreakers. We have 10 shots, hitting on 3s. That's 5 hits, wounding on 2s with no feel no pain for the Blood Angels. And that is 5 wounds.
5 2-up saves for the Blood Angels. All passed.
Pesky Blood Angels. Death Guard assault phase. The Chaplain at initiative 5 is going to get 4 attacks, hitting on 3s. Only 2 hits. No Zealot this turn. Wounding on 2s for +2 strength from his Crozius. There's 2 wounds.
Power Armour 3-up saves. Both passed.
A challenge was issued by the Death Shroud on 1 wound.
The Chaplain accepted and will be striking first at initiative 5, hitting on freeze with 3 attacks. It is mastercrafted for the Blade of Perdition for 2 hits, and then due to the Blood Angel +1 to wound roll, be wounding on freeze. So 1 wound, but it is Blade of Perdition, so it counts as 2.
2 5-up invuln saves for the Death Shroud. 1 through. That is him sliced.
Striking at initiative 4 is the Assault Marines with the Chain Axes and the Apothecary. With 18 attacks, hitting on 4s, I've managed to get 7 hits. Blood Angels, we wounding on freeze for 3 wounds.
3 2-up armor saves for the Artificer armor on the Chaplain. Can he do it? 1 wound goes through.
Striking at initiative 1, the Assault Squad Sergeant is going to try and take the glory and finish off the Chaplain with 2 attacks, hitting on 4s for 1 hit and then wounding on 2s. And that was 1 wound for Tom to save.
1 glorious invuln save of a 5-up for the Chaplain. No, he's splat.
So the Assault Marine Squad wipes them out and consolidates 4 inches.
End of Death Guard turn 2 sees the Blood Angels wipe out the centre line of the Death Guard. Hopefully we can weather a little bit more for some reserves to come on with the outflanking destroyers and Moritat.
Blood Angels turn 3. Raldoran has called in the rest of his reserves. The 2 assault squads secured 2 objectives at the beginning of the turn to score the Blood Angels another 2 points. Blood Angels turn 3. Raldoran has called in the rest of his reserves. The 2 assault squads scored 2 points by holding objectives at the beginning of the turn. The Dawnbreakers and assault squad have moved up to the Death Guard missile squad. The Javelins have arrived on the right hand side of the Blood Angels flank. The Contemptor deep struck next to Raldoran. Raldoran has moved forward and the assault squad have moved on to an objective. Blood Angels turn 3 shooting. The Chaplain's assault squad will be shooting their bolt pistols at the Death Guard missile squad with 13 shots, hitting on freeze. That is 10 hits, and then wounding on 4s for 6 wounds.
So that is 1 normal Marine with a 3-up armor save closest first before I get to the Sergeant on a 2-up armor save. Taking 1 at a time. 1, 2, 3. So that's 1 Marine dead. Then 2 up for the Sergeant. And he's okay.
Dawnbreakers shot 1 grenade discharger at the Death Guard missile squad to no avail. Blood Angels Javelin attack squadron shot at the Death Guard missile squad, killing 3 Marines.
The Death Guard were called on to take a leadership test from the weight of fire poured into them by the Blood Angels. Fortunately, Rask held them true and I rolled a double 1 for the leadership test.
Blood Angels Contemptor Incendius is shooting with his 2 assault cannons at the Grave Warden, with 4 shots from each assault cannon, rolling separately in case of any triple 1s for jamming. Hitting on 2s, 3 hits from the first one, 3 hits from the second. It's strength 6, AP 4 rending, wounding on 4s, 2 sorry, with 1 rend and 5 normal saves.
Would you like me to take first?
The rend please.
1 rend on the lead chap. Managed to pass that, and then 5 normal on 2-ups. Sadly, his armour didn't hold, and he is now felled.
Blood Angels assault phase. The Dawnbreakers were now out of range to charge due to the Death Guard casualties in the shooting phase. The Assault Marines managed to get the charge off, even though going through difficult terrain. Overwatch from the Death Guard resulted in 2 Assault Marines being casualties. The Chaplain declared a challenge and Jurek Rask accepted. So the chaplain striking at initiative 6 due to their right of war will be attacking with 4 attacks, hitting on 4s with rerolls for Zealot for 3 hits, and then wounding on 3s. There's 2 wounds due to Blade of Perdition. It's 2 wounds per wound, so it kills Jurek Rask and spills over to kill 1 more Marine from the other wound. Blood Angel's Apothecary with his power sword will be striking at initiative 5 with 3 attacks, hitting on 4s with rerolls from the chaplain for Zealot for 2 hits, and wounded on 3s as 1 missile Marine dead. Blood Angel's Assault Marines with 15 attacks hit 8 times and caused 5 wounds.
So the Sergeant of the Death Guard Missile Squad is going to try and tank 5 2-up saves. We'll see how this goes. Loves it. Initiative step 4 for the Death Guard, hitting back at the Blood Angels Assault Marines. 5 attacks with 2 hits and 2 wounds.
The armour saves for the 2 Assault Marines, 1 failed, but luckily passed his Feel No Pain. Initiative step 1 from the Assault Marines with the 2 Power Axes and the Sergeant with the Power Fist hit and destroyed the rest of the missile squad. The unit then consolidated 4 inches. End of Blood Angels turn 3. They've done pretty well clearing that Death Guard missile squad to remove that threat. Now looking to just secure some more objectives.
Death Guard turn 3 movement. The tactical squad holding the left flank held the objective marker, scoring another point for the turn. The Destroyer squad and the Morata outflanked into the side to draw a bead on the javelins. The Grave Warden moved to intercept the threat of the javelins, and the Deredeo took a step to the left to draw a bead on the Blood Angels Contemptor. Death Guard turn 3 shooting. The destroyers that outflanked are drawing a bead with their missile launchers and suspensor webs with rad missiles. Fired into the Blood Angels assault squad with the chaplain. Managed to get 6 hits. Fleshbane special rule on the rad missiles means the 6 hits will wound on 2s. All wound at AP3.
So that will ignore my 3-up armour save. However, I do have a Apothecary in the squadron. So 5-up Feel No Pains to save 2, so 4 Marines die.
The Death Guard are drawing a bead with their crack grenades against the javelins. The javelins chose to jink, so we have 8 shots hitting on 3s. That is 6 hits. Glancing on side armour 11 on 5s. That is 1 pen.
1 penetrating hit against the javelins, so a 4-up jink save. Saved.
Deredeo Dreadnought is going to fire its twin-linked Anvilus autocannon battery at the Blood Angels Incendious Dreadnought. Twin-linked ballistic skill 5, so it needs 2s to hit. All hit. Front armour 13, strength 8 will be 5s to glance with Sunder. So that is 2 glance. I will keep the glances and reroll the fails to maintain at 2 glances.
The Contemptor has a 5-up invulnerable save against shooting attacks, which passes 1, and 1 glance goes through.
Next up is the 4 Boreas air defense missiles. Hitting on 2s, all hit. Special rule with the Boreas, it always hits side armour, so strength 8, side armour 12 will be forced to glance. Not a sausage. Death Guard assault phase. The Grave Warden decided to meet the threat of the javelins. They needed a 7 and rolled a 9, so straight in there and hoping to take out the javelins. Initiative step 1 for the chain fists on the Grave Warden. have 12 attacks on the charge. They will need 5s to hit due to the special rule of the Javelins, Grav Backwash. Oh, that's some good hits right there. We have 6 hits, auto glancing because of Armour Bane on the Chain Fists. Rear armour of 10, so it's auto glance. Now rolling away for armour penetration of the Chain Fists. Great news with the penetrating hits, that is to 6 penetrating hits. Now we roll 6 times on the penetrating table to see what damage can occur. Now rolling on the vehicle damage table 6 times. This will be +1 because of AP2 of the Chain Fists. We get 2 explode results. We will see what damage occurs from the explosion radius from the dead Javelins. Thankfully, no damage was incurred from the dying Javelin's explosion radius, and a great turn for the Death Guard in general.
Blood Angels turn 4 movement. The assault squad behind the complex have scored another point holding an objective. The Terminators and Incendious Dreadnought have moved up on the Death Guard tactical squad to try and force them off that tactical objective. The Chaplain's Assault Marines have moved back towards an objective to score points late in the game, and the Dawnbreakers continue to move forward to put as much hurt on the Death Guard as possible. Blood Angels shooting phase. The Dawnbreakers have ran forward 5 inches. The Chaplain's Assault Squad have ran 4 to try and get closer to that objective, and the Incendious Dreadnought has ran 3 inches. The Crimson Paladins are now going to try and shoot with their assault cannon at the tactical squad of the Death Guard. Crimson Paladins shoot in the Death Guard tactical squad with 4 shots from the assault cannon, hitting on 3s for 2 hits, and wounding on 2s. That is 1 rending shot, but Tom has a 5-up cover save.
Death Guard 5-up cover save. Loves it.
End of Blood Angels turn 4. The Blood Angels are now thinking about the end game and trying to maneuver to grab as many objective points as possible.
Death Guard turn 4 movement. The tactical squad at the beginning of the turn scored 1 more point for the Dominion objective they are holding. The Grave Warden moved 6 inches up to face the dire threat of the Dawnbreakers. The Destroyers and the Moritat moved 6 inches up to meet the threat of the Assault Squad, and the Derrideo has pivoted round to meet the Dawnbreakers. Death Guard shooting. The Grave Warden elected to shoot with their toxin grenades at the Dawnbreakers. 8 shots, resulting in 17 hits. Poison 3 up. We shall see what they get. Good work there. And that is 12 wounds.
12 saves to be made on the Dawnbreakers. 2-up Artificer Armour, followed by 5-up Field Note Pains. They've all passed.
Jammy. After the failed virulent infection from the Grave Warden, the Derrideo needs to put some damage on the Dawnbreakers, firing its Anvilus pattern twin-linked autocannon. We have 4 shots at ballistic skill 5, hitting on 2s. All hit. Going to be wounding on 2s. And that is 3 wounds on the Dawnbreakers. Can it go through?
3 Artificer saves to be made.
Oof.
All passed. Close.
The Moritat, in with the Destroyers, is going to shoot both his plasma pistols at the Blood Angels Assault Squad, needing 2s to hit. Both hit. 2s to wound. 2 wounds at AP2.
The Apothecary is going to attempt to save the 1 Marine in range, needing 2 5-ups. And he does.
The Destroyer Squad now is firing its rad missiles at the Assault Squad. Managed to hit 7 times. Fleshbane 2 up. Shall see what they get. That is 6 wounds at AP3.
The Apothecary is going to attempt to carry out his good work again. There are 3 Assault Marines before the Chaplain, rolling 3 at a time. He saves 1, One at a time, saves him, dies, and then a chaplain on a 2-up. Passed. So 3 Marines die.
Death Guard, turn 4, assault phase. The Grave Warden really need to meet the threat of the Dawnbreakers. Overwatch was ineffective. We need a 12-inch range, making a 7. Unfortunately, that is ineffective. End of Death Guard, turn 4. They are at DEFCON State 4. Panic is rising. The Grave Warden really need to meet the threat of the Dawnbreakers, but having failed their charge, it's looking like that could be game over for them. The Destroyers, although having managed to put a dent into the Blood Angels Assault Squad, they are immune to fear, so not taking any casualties through attrition. The Tactical Squad is consolidating onto their objective, trying to hold out for as many Dominion points as possible.
Blood Angels turn 5 movement and potentially the last turn of the game. The Assault Squad that has spent all game hunkered on the objective are staying there to potentially score on the last turn, and scored me another point this turn. The Incendious Dreadnought has moved up to bring its assault cannons to bear on the Death Guard Tactical Marines, as well as Raldoron's Crimson Paladins. The Chaplain and his depleted assault squad have moved forward to tackle the Death Guard Destroyers, and the Dawnbreakers have just weathered a lot of shooting from the Grave Warden and want to hit back. Blood Angels turn 5 shooting. The combined firepower from the assault cannons of the Incendious class Dreadnought and Crimson Paladins shot at the Death Guard Tactical Squad, who elected to go to ground and resulted in 2 casualties. The Chaplain's assault squad fired their bolt pistols into the Death Guard Destroyer squad to soften them up before they charge, resulting in 1 casualty for the Death Guard. The Dawnbreakers and Apothecary shot their arsenal at the Grave Warden to ill effect. Blood Angels turn 5 assault phase. The Dawnbreakers have charged the Grave Warden, repelling all Overwatch attacks. The Assault Marines have charged the Death Guard Destroyers, losing 1 Marine to Overwatch. Combat between the Assault Squad and the Destroyers. The Chaplain declared a challenge and the Mortat accepted. The Chaplain struck first at Initiative 6, causing 1 wound on the Mortat.
Also striking at Initiative 6 was the Death Guard Mortat, due to his Charmable Saver giving him +1. Managed to hit once. Unfortunately, the Blood Angels Chaplain's armour held out with his 5-up invuln.
The Apothecary struck next at Initiative 5 with his Power Sword, getting 2 hits and 2 wounds, killing 1 Marine outright, and then the Destroyer Sergeant failed his 2-up in Artificer armour save.
At Initiative Step 4, the Destroyers hit back with 28 attacks, hitting 14 times, wounding 9 times, and felling 2 Marines. At the end of the combat, the Death Guard lost by 1. They had leadership 9 on the Mortat, needing 8 on their morale check. Double 1. Insane bravery.
Dawnbreakers Sergeant declared a challenge against Grave Warden. Grave Warden Sergeant stepped up. The Blade of Perdition swiped him out of the way, and the rest of the Dawnbreaker squad killed the other 2 Grave Warden, leaving 1 to strike back. The Apothecary then attacked, but the Terminator armour was too strong for the Power Sword.
At Initiative Step 1, the lone Grave Warden from the Death Guard swiped back at the onslaught of the Dawnbreakers, managing to instantly kill 1. We now lost by 2, so we have a leadership modifier -2, needing a 6 or less. And he's running. He's running.
So,
Initiative step roll off.
yeah. And he gets away.
Just.
The Dawnbreakers consolidated 4 inches and moved towards the Destroyers. The Grave Warden ran a massive 11 inches. End of Blood Angels turn 5. Managed to secure some more attrition points and holding on an objective in case we go to turn 6.
Death Guard turn 5. The last remaining tactical squad scored another point from the Dominion objective they've been holding for most of the game. The lone Grave Warden unfortunately failed his rally leadership and ran off the board. Derridero needs to bring some hurt to what you can see of the Dawnbreakers in the shooting phase, and the Destroyers and Moritat are in ongoing combat. Death Guard turn 5 shooting phase. Derridero needs to unleash hell on the Dawnbreakers that have caused so much pain for the Death Guard. First, firing with his twin-linked chem munition fueled heavy flamer. We roll for gets hot first. It doesn't get hot. 5 hits under the template with shred or twin-linked. So that is 4 wounds on the Dawnbreakers.
4 2-up saves for the Artist for Armour on the Dawnbreakers. Failed 2, but the Apothecary doesn't pass anything, so 2 Dawnbreakers die.
Burning in hell. Next up for the Derridero, firing its twin-linked Anvilus autocannon battery at the Dawnbreakers still, needing 2s to hit. All hit, needing 2s to wound. All wound. 4 wounds on the Dawnbreakers.
4 2-up Artist for Armours, all passed.
The tactical squad that went to ground last turn are drawing a bead on the Dawnbreakers to bring even more hurt. 7 can draw line of sight, hoping for 6s on snapshots. 1 hit. Does it wound? No wound. Sad times for the Death Guard. Death Guard assault phase. The Moritat at initiative 6, because he's still in a challenge with the Charnable Sabre, had 4 attacks. He hit once and wounded once, but the Chaplain managed to save it.
Initiative step 5, the Chaplain hits the Moritat back using his Blade of Perdition, causing 2 wounds on him, and he failed his invul save and now is slain. The Apothecary hitting at initiative 4, hit twice, wounded twice, cutting through the power armour of the Destroyer squad.
Initiative step 4 for the Death Guard Destroyers. They came in with 21 attacks. They hit 15 times and wounded 10. They managed to cut through the Apothecary first, failing his own Feel No Pain. 9 wounds carried over onto the Chaplain. Without a Feel No Pain, he failed 2 and died outright. End of turn 5 for the Death Guard. The Derridero managed to put some hurt on the Blood Angels Dawnbreakers. Wasn't enough to cause a leadership test, unfortunately, but he tried hard. The Destroyers, however, rallied around themselves and managed to completely wipe out the Chaplain and his assault squad, consolidating 4 inches away from the threat of the Dawnbreakers in preparation for a possible turn 6.
It'll be a turn 6 on a 4-up. Turn 6 it is.
Can the Death Guard hold out any longer?
Blood Angels turn 6. The Dawnbreakers have moved up towards the Destroyer squad, and the Assault squad behind the complex have scored another point holding the objective. The Terminators and Contemptor have stayed still to pop some more shots at the tactical squad for the Death Guard. Blood Angels turn 6 shooting. The combined shooting power from the Crimson Paladins and the Contemptor fired at the Death Guard tactical squad, killing 5. Not quite enough to push them off the objective, and they passed a morale test, so they will score another point. Before they charge in, the Dawnbreakers shot at the Destroyer squad, but shooting isn't their forte, so they'll leave it to the combat with no wounds caused. Blood Angels assault phase. The Dawnbreakers charge into the Destroyer squad. The Overwatch was ineffective, and they are now ready to wipe that squad. Blood Angels, Dawnbreakers, going through the motions, easily took care of the Death Guard Destroyers and have now consolidated 5 inches to end the Blood Angels' turn and final turn of the game.
Death Guard turn 6 movement. The tactical squad have been holding out all game on the Dominion objective, scoring another point for themselves. They moved their 3 inches to try and draw a bead on the pesky Dawnbreakers. Derrido is there and point blank down his barrels to try and take a pop at the Blood Angels' incendious dreadnought in the preceding shooting phase. Death Guard turn 6 shooting. Derrido needs to bring some hurt for the attrition point. He's going to fire his twin-linked Alvarez cannon auto battery with 4 shots, needing 2s to hit. All hit. Strength 8 sunder on side armour 12 with 8. 4s to glance and 5s to pen. Unfortunately, that has only 1 penetrating hit with sunder. Reroll the misses. That's 3 pens on the side armour. Can Incendious save them?
Incendious has 5 up invult. He fails both. He's lost his last hull points.
The tactical squad tried to take a pop, snap shooting at the Dawnbreakers. Unfortunately, they missed all 3 shots. That marks the end of Death Guard turn 6 and the end of the game in general. It was a sore day for the Death Guard. They held true till the end. It wasn't a tabling, but Derrido had to put it back at the end to try and pick out the incendious dreadnought. And we will tot up victory points and get back to you in a bit.
That was Blood Angels versus Death Guard. You know, you could be accused for having a bit of a drumming there from the Blood Angels. The Death Guard did not have a good time. However, I don't think it was that bad a game in the end. We got a good result on the victory points, which we'll come to in a second. Gents, good game. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was really good, thank you.
Not as close as perhaps as your last game, no?
No, not as the test game went.
No, Dawnbreakers are horrible, man. It's just, they went round in a circle. It's unbelievable.
They mopped up.
They did. I think, Tom, the Death Guard did an amazing job at keeping the Dreadnought, the Terminators, and that 15-man assault squad at arm's length. So you only had to deal with half of the army, pretty much. So, although if you look at it differently, half the army blended through yours, but I think you did a good job. You played a good game, I think.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. It's all you do for the hobby, really. I'm not here to win. I'm just here to roll some dice, have a good time.
But Sean's here to win, though, right?
Yeah, why else would you come?
Joking.
Go ahead.
Sean, you did a great job. The Blood Angels are quite a formidable foe, but your list is extremely manoeuvrable, rather, particularly with Day of Revelation. It worked really well.
That's what makes them really strong, is their speed. The +1 initiative on the charge just means less is hitting them back, so they tend to just go away in the combats.
Mincing through everything, really.
Yeah.
The Apothecary saves, though, have to mention them. They were incredible.
Yeah. Tom might have accused me of weighted dice a few times.
Outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. But it's dice, isn't it? You roll, you have fun.
Yeah.
I think Tom was a bit of a late bloomer because there was some really fantastic rolls that came in, and you really took down the Dawnbreaker squad and then the other assault squad as well. You did fantastic in combat with those destroyers.
Yeah, the destroyers probably held their own and paid for themselves to a point. It would have been nicer had they come on a turn sooner, I think. That would have probably weighted it. And I would have had more to deal with the Blood Angels themselves. But yeah, it is what it is. I enjoyed it no matter what.
Good. It was a shame to not get the chain fire off on the Moritat as well. I think that would have been quite pivotal, really.
Definitely.
But so, like you say, it's the way it goes. But let's do victory points. We'll move on very quickly. We'll start off with the Death Guard. The Death Guard played a very consistent game, scoring 1 point every turn for 5 turns, except for the first, of course. I think you blokes were really good by agreeing not to have an objective really close to your line, so you couldn't score from turn 1. So good on you for that. So 5 points scored by the Death Guard. And then the Blood Angels, did a great job. There were 6 victory points called. But Sean, you got 2 D3 rolls for Attrition and Warlords.
Yep.
Let's have a roll. What you got?
So
Weighted. They are weighted.
It's a 5 and a 6. It's an additional 6 victory points.
So we talked about this before we came on. It was like, it won't be bad if it's like an 8-5, but not so good if it's a 12-5. But final points, maximum goes to the Blood Angels. So it was in the end 12 to the Blood Angels and 5 to the Death Guard. Holy balls.
Just knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Sean, have you got any comment for me about the game, or maybe a unit you want to talk about? Or
Just Dawnbreakers. They're definitely the man of the match for me. They just chomped through Tom's army.
That is an understatement.
I'm slightly sorry for it, but not too sorry.
Brilliant. Tom, what do you got for me?
It was a thoroughly enjoyable game, regardless of how badly it went towards the end. But Destroyers, they are probably one of my favourite units, to be honest.
I think they performed really, really well for you. I mean, like you said, getting them on a turn early may have helped, but when they came on, they made an impact and they held combat pretty well, I think, until they got to the Dawnbreakers, of course. But who can stand up against the Dawnbreakers? Who knows? But I think they did a good job for you.
Yeah.
So you've got to drive back to Salisbury. What's the car journey going to be like on the way home?
Quiet. No, I'm joking. I'm not sorry. No, yeah, it'll be right. I just won't play him for a while.
Yeah, I think that's best.
Fair enough.
We did talk about, this is Tom's perhaps third game of Heresy, and I said to him halfway through that, the Heresy community in general is pretty nice, and there are some nice people out there with some nice friendly lists, but teasing, of course. Gents, are you part of a club we could mention?
Yeah, we're part of South Wiltshire Gamers, based in Durrington near Salisbury, but if you just look them up on Facebook, you'll be able to find them easily.
South Wiltshire War Gamers, yeah.
Many different games played, or just Heresy, or
loads.
Yeah,
It's you got the main GW ones like Heresy 40k, AOS, but then there's just tons of other systems that I see played there.
Yeah, it's great. It's quite a big Heresy community too, isn't there? Actually,
yeah, we're quite lucky to have a good Heresy community close to us.
Fantastic. It's lucky, I get messages from some people, they're in different parts of the world and they're the only person in their state or their country that plays Heresy, so they're struggling for opponents. So I think being in England, we are really spoilt for clubs and the proximity to Games Workshop Forge World, and I think we're so lucky, really. So it's cool that you've got a great club where you are. Now, if we want to have a quick look at your beautiful, beautiful armies, where can we find you?
I'm on Instagram, Red Fuzz Paints, FUZZ. You can see from doggy pictures to the beginnings of the Death Guard and where they're at to now, really.
Fantastic. Sean?
You can find me at SMG Paintings. There's quite a few Blood Angels, there's some Sons of Horus on there, and shortly there should be some Alpha Legion coming soon.
Oh, nice. We love a bit of Alpha Legion. We had an Alpha Legion game last week, and it was an absolute textbook Alpha Legion game. It's well worth a watch. And of course, you can find the channel on Instagram as well. It's just at the 30k channel. If you've got any questions or comments you'd like to deal with me directly, it's just david@the30kchannel.com. I'm always happy to answer questions if you've got any. I sincerely hope you've enjoyed this game. I've had a great day. We finished quite early as well. I mean, 2,000 points, Centurion, and a strong Blood Angels list. So we have finished early, which is quite nice. So at least you'll get home in time for tea, I'd imagine.
Yeah. I may have lost a day with Death Guard, but I won't lose the day with the missus.
There you go. I love that. Gents, thank you so much for coming over to the channel. I've really enjoyed myself.
Yeah, it's been
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
Brilliant. And if you ever want a rematch, I would love to host. Or if you want another opponent, then
we'll see.
I'll tone it down next time.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next game.